Just a quick video on what I think about The Division and if it's worth buying. Righty tighty, first things first, I will summarise The Division for you with no story spoilers at all, but maybe there's a premise spoiler in here, so if you're intending to go into the game not knowing anything about it, why are you even on this video? Most of this could just be picked up by the marketing anyway, so it's your own fault. And we begin in 3, 2, 1. Past this point, you've been warned. So, the time frame is vague, and the premise is that New York has come under a pandemic that has spiraled society into chaos. As some branch of the government made to deal with these things, you are tasked with sorting out basic utilities, doing law enforcement, and organisational tasks. The gameplay itself is a third-person cover shooter, not that dissimilar to Watch Dogs or Ghost Recon Future Soldier, in the way that everything handles, but it's a little bit more streamlined as this game is slightly newer. It also performs much better than Watch Dogs does. I still have trouble running that on my computer and I don't understand why. Throw in some RPG mechanics, base management, raids like an MMO, and a health system a la Borderlands, and that's pretty much how this game plays. And to be honest, I'm surprised at how much fun I'm having with it all. Being the sort of person who dedicates Sunday and Tuesday evenings to playing Milsim Armour 3 with my group the CMCR, small plug, definitely don't check the website and join us, I thought the damage model would bother me more than it actually does. What I mean by that is that this is an RPG, so everything is done via health bars. While getting headshots will still net you massive damage, it doesn't do what I normally expect it to do, which is to drop somebody instantly, like in Armour or Rainbow Six Siege. And as well as that, I thought the hand-holding, such as the grenade radius or like a little sort of path of where you were going to throw your items would annoy me as well, because I'm not used to that in any of the games that I play. But like, I just can't pinpoint why I'm enjoying this so much. With a modern setting, everything seems a bit dissonant in what I expect the guns to do, which is just to rapidly kill someone. But I'm not really noticing or being particularly bothered by the spongy nature of the enemies. In fact, I'm finding the game allows some nice tactics and flanking strategies that I don't see in some of the more realistic shooters I play, because you're less afraid of dying in one shot. You're a little bit more willing to go around the side of enemies and take damage taking that route. Unless of course there are snipers there, which these are so annoying in this game, but at the same time it's quite satisfying to get up one's arse and kill it. Now some people would find this a huge downside, like what I'm saying immediately. And to be honest, when looking at gameplay footage, I honestly thought I would as well. But I think I've been looking for a brainless shooter that I can just sit back and enjoy without having to concentrate on it too much. The game reminds me a lot of Borderlands, but I prefer this setting a little more. As being a fan of the outdoors and airsoft, dressing my character up in clothes that look like what I wear while going on a trek in the cold North English countryside, it appeals to me. I like warm leather jackets, and I also like boots. And I also like customizable weapons. Fitting a rail system onto my airsoft gun is one of the most fun things I've done over the past year, as it's a bit of tech that you get to do, customize something that you own, and it's like a little project, but you also get to choose what sight you put on there, and it's the anticipation of having this amazing weapon that you get to use. It's like a utility you build. It's kind of why I enjoy building my computer, to raise the effectiveness of something. And plus it looks amazing. I have an AMD based rig and I've managed to max the game out. This is using a 4GB GTX 970 as well as I think it's an AMD FX 8350 and 32GB of RAM. And I know my PC isn't considered low end anymore, it's probably on the more modern end of the spectrum now. But the fact that this game's highest settings aren't reserved for Titans only is kind of a plus for me. There's usually games that aren't running on Intel tend not to be optimised very well for them. I'm just very impressed with how well made the engine is and how well optimised it is. I mean, I've not tried it in 4K obviously, or on VR or on a 3D monitor, so you probably need a better PC to play on Ultra for that. But back to my point, I find the rendering of fabrics alone to be one of the most satisfying things about this game. The attention to detail in the way that the little smoke grenade on my backpack wheels around is a nice touch, as does the container when you pick up items from the dark zone. It's all very nice in just the way that the fabric moves and wiggles. I mean, the way all surfaces look realistic outside of the fabric as well is amazing. I mean, just look at this duct tape plastic sheeting. Look at it! The way it shines. the way the tape doesn't shine, and the sound as well, and just, it just looks real-ish. Like, this is the first time I've managed to play modern games on a modernish system, and I'm just really impressed. I mean, plus, the scar tissue that I've applied to my character looks really cool, as does the face paint on it, and the grey hair. It's just all really nice. Now, onto the thing everybody cares about with this game, which is the Dark Zone. People have been having issues with the systems involved, such as the rogue one, or just how friendly the whole place is. I can't really comment because I've spent bugger all time in there, and I didn't even get shot at once. I'm finding everyone really helpful. I accidentally shot a guy and he didn't immediately whip round and kill me. He just called me a son of a bitch and carried on helping me clearing out the extraction point. Which, just as an afterthought, this is probably because we're all still low level and not jaded by just fighting AI, so we're not looking for that PvP challenge. The thing is, there seems to have toned down the radar that you have in this game, so enemies aren't instantly pointed out on the minimap. So the whole thing seems less like this big, horrific, lawless part of town that can't be reclaimed ever, and more slightly like a harder district within the game. I can't help but also feel like the atmosphere within the Dark Zone would be more tense if they made it so that the whole area required a level 1 filter, as you have to extract all loot by helicopter that you recover in the Dark Zone so it can be disinfected. It seems a bit weird that the frequency of these infected areas is about the same as it is outside of the Dark Zone. In case you didn't know, in The Division you have these areas that require kind of like a gas mask for you to be able to enter, and the idea is that the disease will kill you if you don't have a certain level of filter on your gas mask, and these are sprinkled all throughout the city in different places. You have different missions to do. In the Dark Zone, they're just randomly there, and there's just containers with loot in them. But seeing as the case is that the frequency of them in the city is pretty much the same as the Dark Zone, why am I not disinfecting every single piece of loot that I come across? Why doesn't the Dark Zone have a lot more paths walled off with highly infected areas? I mean, the only real problem I have with the game is narrative dissonance like that, where the Dark Zone isn't that intimidating. It's made out to be this big, infected, lawless part of town, but it's not. It just seems like the rest of it. Seeing as the rest of it still has roaming gangs and infected areas, like there's not much difference. Besides, there's no satellite coverage for the Division agents, so you can kill each other in PvP. But even then, I've not seen that happen. But another example of this narrative dissonance is the game's premise for enemies. We're on a mission to restore calm to a city and stop people from committing crimes or looting bodies. Our solution is to kill them, and then loot them for items. And it seems a bit hypocritical. There are conversations in safe houses which allude to the NPCs and cast of characters being aware of the situation and the hypocrisy of it, but not caring about it. It's for the greater good for these people. With certain gangs, like, that all makes sense, as they are like this almost paramilitary force doing evil things, which I'm not going to ruin them for you, but the first lot you encounter are called rioters, and because they're just, well, regular citizens, like, taking advantage of the situation, it seems a bit overkill. Like, I'll be honest though, after collecting my purple level 10 gloves, I couldn't care less. I'm just here to shoot and loot. Something else that I enjoyed is the AI. They're not programmed in such a way as what I would call dumb, but they're programmed with enough human error in there to be convincing. So there is a stealth element to things, and the way they take cover and actually try and flank you can actually be pretty effective at times. Which some of the AI will bum rush you and run towards you, but it tends to be the one with bats. The one with guns will swap cover and try and get a better firing angle on you. As well as that, they do hang around in the main city in their certain areas because of, I think it's a JTF presence. But when in the Dark Zone, they do have small patrols, and what you'll find is that sometimes two different gangs will clash, and then a mini fight between the two will break out, which helps to contribute to this sort of feeling of the Dark Zone, which is kind of like this little war zone, not controlled by sort of the government. It's pretty good AI, basically. I had an instance the other day where I was waiting for an extraction to come down to pick up my stuff, and the AI hadn't noticed me yet, so I was able just to wait until the rope came down and then pop it on there. Another time, the AI twigged me easily, so I had to kill them all within vicinity, and then the ones that didn't know where I was, I flanked round, put my shit on, then got rid of them. It's pretty good, the AI, to be fair. Which, last thing on the AI as well, I like the insults they throw around. I created a female character, and I think, and I would have to test this by creating a male one to see if it's the same, that they use gendered insults. So, for me, they will basically say the word bitch a lot more when I'm on my own. Whereas when I'm with a group of people, you'll hear bastards instead. And it's just quite interesting because a group of people is usually me and then a bunch of men. And it just seems like Ubisoft has gone to a lot of effort to make the AI seem like humans and more realistic. There's a lot of really nice world building that's gone into it. And as for you Steam controller users, I'm pleased to say that it works very well with this game and hasn't seemed to have impeded my performance at all. Would I pay full price for this game? It's hard to say really. I got this free with my new GPU. But I am considering the £30 season pass, if that means anything. I can definitely see myself returning to complete the encounters, go on challenge raids, or revisit the Dark Zone, and I'm definitely interested in seeing where the story goes, as well as the idea of it being kind of like a modern MMO with modern setting of guns. I do kind of want to get the season pass to see where things go. Basically, this game is my jam, even with its flaws. 10 out of 10, IGN. Hey, you made it all the way through. Why not reward yourself with a subscription to my channel? You'll get to hear more gaming videos or just other random bullshit I feel like talking about. If you want to watch another gaming video by me, then click the annotation on screen to be taken to a video where I go through a few of my 3 childhood games I used to play as a kid. If you really enjoyed the video, give it a like, and try The Division. Especially if you're thinking of ordering a GPU anytime soon, why not get one where it comes free with it? I think, actually, and I'm really pissed off that I missed out on this, Overclockers have a deal on the exact card that I ordered, where you can get Far Cry Primal, a solid state drive, and The Division for free with one for exactly the same price, which I would have loved to have got a solid state drive as I'm building a mini PC for my living room. What are you going to do? But yeah, I'll link that in the description, and have a good week, guys. See ya.